Hey there! Are you considering starting your business in the Netherlands? Well, you have finally found a video focusing on the business legal forms, especially on EMZ and BV and the differences between them. Now, I know you might be wondering, why should I even care about these legal forms? What difference does it make? Trust me, making the right choice can have a huge impact on your personal finances and on your business. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of which legal form aligns best with your goals and aspirations. Let's get started. Hey there, I'm Anna. As someone who's both an expat and an entrepreneur with multiple companies in the Netherlands, believe me, I know that it can be overwhelming when you first move here. The anxiety, the fear of making mistakes and facing huge fines because you know the Netherlands is not the cheapest country in the world, it can really take a toll on you. So I created this video for you to feel more at ease and confident about navigating the ins and outs of doing business in the Netherlands. Before we dive into legal structures, let's discuss taxes. Because when we discuss the differences between various legal structures, taxes are key to understanding them. Let's start from the basics. In the Netherlands, you are paying personal taxes based on your annual income, regardless of whether it comes from a job or a business. In 2023, individual income is taxed according to the following rates: 36.93 tax rate for income between 0 and 73,031 euro, and 49.5% tax rate for anything above this figure. It's not exactly that straightforward because there are various tax benefits, and the less income you receive, the more tax benefits you have. But that's a helicopter view. EMZ stands for eenmanszaak, which is a one-man business. If you get paid as EMZ, you will be taxed according to these individual tax rates. However, if you opt for a BV, you have an additional payment option: dividends. And unlike a personal income from a job or freelancing or a salary, these dividends are taxed at a different rate. In 2023, dividends are taxed at 26.9%. However, even though this tax rate seems to be much lower, keep in mind that you can only pay yourself dividends after your profits were taxed, which is this year 19%. So basically that doesn't make any difference, but I'm mentioning that because several years back, profit tax was lower and a lot of people preferred to pay themselves dividends instead of paying themselves their salary. Does that sound confusing? Here's your takeaway. BV is more beneficial in case your business generates revenue of 300,000 euro. In this case, it really makes sense to pay yourself dividends. However, if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that this threshold is not relevant to you at this point. And although I totally wish you to reach this point shortly, let's get back to our 7 questions that you should consider before opening a legal structure that will determine which kind of structure is more relevant to your situation. And here they are. The first question you need to ask yourself is, am I considered an entrepreneur by the tax authorities? Believe it or not, even if you already have considerable income, you might not fall under their definition of an entrepreneur, which means you don't need to register a legal entity yet. I actually have a separate video on this topic, and I highly recommend you to check it out first. In this video, I highlight 3 most common situations, and in 2 of them, you don't need to open a legal entity yet, so check it out. And we're moving on to the second question: where do you live? And where do you plan to live? Your place of living is a crucial factor that will limit or expand the number of options available to you. If you're lucky enough to call the Netherlands your home, you have a choice of 2 legal structures, EMZ and BV. However, if you live outside the Netherlands and you don't have a BSN, your only option is to incorporate a BV. So keep that in mind while you move forward with your business plans. Moving on to the next question, and the next question is, what revenue are you expecting in one full year? To choose the right legal structure, it's vital to get a clear picture and understanding of the expected revenue, which is calculated by subtracting your expenses from your turnover. So take some time to carefully consider and determine the revenue for the upcoming year. Here are some thresholds you should be aware of. If you anticipate earning less than 20,000 euro, EMZ is the way to go. This choice offers simplicity and ease, allowing you to have more flexibility. If your projected revenue falls between 20 and 80 €3,000 euro, opening an EMZ is still a great choice. It provides you the advantage of having more disposable income in comparison to a BV. Once your expected annual revenue exceeds €80,000 euro, it's time to seriously consider incorporating a BV. And finally, if your business is thriving and you're expecting an annual revenue of over €200,000 euro, incorporating a BV is your go-to choice. This is the optimal choice for enjoying the full benefits. And here's an extremely important, crucial, vital thing that you need to know and you need to remember. If you incorporate a BV, you are obliged to pay yourself salary as a director. As of 2023, the minimal director's salary is set to €51,000 euro. It's crucial to stay updated on it though, as this amount is updated annually. So by the time you're watching this video, it might be another figure. So make sure you check this. So here comes a valid question. If I don't have a revenue of €51,000 euro, can I incorporate a BV at all? Yes, you can, and there are actually several exclusions. For instance, if you have just incorporated a company and it doesn't have the revenue of €51,000 euro, you are not obliged to pay yourself this salary. However, keep in mind, you can do that forever. But according to my experience and the experience of the entrepreneurs I know, for several years, that might be an option. Moving on to the next question, and the next serious issue that you need to consider before incorporating a legal entity in the Netherlands is responsibility. What's the level of responsibility that you're willing to take on? As in many countries of the world, if you opt for an EMZ, you will be personally liable for any risks associated with your business. It's extremely important to be aware that in the Netherlands, you and your partner or spouse, you are seen as one financial unit. So it's not only about your own assets, it's also about your partner's assets, which are also at risk. On the other hand, if you opt for a BV, the liability will be limited to the funds of this BV. That means that in the unfortunate event, if something goes wrong, you won't have to sell your personal car or your house. So before making the decision about your business legal form, consider the level of personal financial risk that you are comfortable with. Next question. Do you plan to provide services to large international businesses? If that's the case, it's generally more advisable to opt for a BV. And here's why. When you operate as an EMZ, you're essentially considered a freelancer. And plenty of larger companies prefer to work with more stable and reliable structures, such as BV. By registering as a BV, you project a more professional image and show them that you take your business seriously. This can be beneficial for establishing relationships and gaining trust with large international businesses. So if your goal is to go big and make a positive impression from a public relations or image standpoint, it's advisable to go with a BV. If you've been watching this video until this point, you're definitely learning something new. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to enhance your entrepreneurial skills. Now let's discuss another crucial factor to consider: your employees and their impact on your business. If you're planning to hire employees shortly, it's generally more advisable to go with the BV legal form. And it's not because you cannot hire people as an EMZ. You can actually do that, but you're liable for their actions. Now, we all hope for the best, but things happen. If your employee breaks something, steals something, or argues with a customer, you'll be covering these expenses out of your own pocket. If something undesirable were to happen involving one of your employees, your liability would be limited to the BV's funds. This helps protect your personal assets and reduces the financial risks associated with one of your employees' actions. Considering the potential risks and unforeseen accidents that may arise in a business setting, choosing a BV can provide you with a better level of protection and peace of mind when it comes to your employees. The next aspect you need to consider to choose the right legal form for your business is whether you'll be attracting any investment or whether you'll be partnering with someone. And if the answer to one of these questions is yes, then setting up a BV is your only option. A BV structure allows for the introduction of shareholders who can invest in the company. That means that you and your business partners can share both profits and losses of your business. By incorporating a BV, you set up a legal framework that enables the formalization of this partnership and provides the necessary tools for equity distribution. The EMZ structure, on the other hand, is designed for sole ownership. You are not able to have partners. And the final aspect to consider for today is savings. Savings? Sounds weird. We're doing business here. If your revenue is projected to be over 100,000 euros, then it's better to go with a BV. And here's why. Suppose that you are EMZ and you earned 100,000 a year. Nice year, huh? After you deduct the expenses, you have to declare the amount left as your annual income. And you remember the tax brackets, right? 50% tax, not so exciting. If you open a BV and you earn 100,000 euro, after you have paid yourself your salary, because your salary is also an expense, and you deduct all the expenses, your only obligation is to pay 19% revenue tax. That's it. And then you can leave this revenue in the company, transferring it to the next year, to the year after that, etc., etc. You have no direct obligation to distribute this revenue among shareholders. With EMZ, you are obliged to do that. You can transfer this revenue to the next year. Everything you earn within a calendar year is your revenue, minus expenses, of course, but this is your income, this is your revenue, you have to pay taxes. That was it. Let me know what you learned today in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. If this video was useful, like it and subscribe to the channel. And see you next week.